Men over 50, stop drinking plain water in the morning until you hear this. If your mornings feel flat, your hands and feet a little cool, or your energy never quite spikes like it used to, the issue may not be how much you drink, but what's in the water. I'm Dr. Julia Morgan, and today I want to walk you through a tiny, safe morning upgrade that many men your age find restores circulation, steadier energy, and better mornings without complicated routines or prescription changes. Before we go further, drop where you're watching from in the comments. City or state is fine. I want to see where everyone's tuning in from. Now stay with me for the next few minutes. This is a small habit you can try tomorrow morning and keep simple after that. As you get older, the way your body handles fluids changes in ways you probably don't notice at first. First cues aren't as sharp, your kidneys tend to filter and excrete minerals faster, and plain water, as refreshing as it feels, can sometimes glide through the body without actually entering the cells that need it most. Think of your circulation and hydration like a garden hose and a roadway. When you're younger, the hose is flexible, so water flows into every plant. After 50, that hose can get stiffer, and if the roadway leading to those plants narrows, traffic slows. That's cellular dehydration. Fluid is present in the system, but it doesn't stay in the tissues where it supports muscle relaxation, nerve signals, and blood vessel flexibility. This isn't a single dramatic failure. It's subtle. More frequent urination, waking at night, cooler extremities, slower recovery after activity, and a morning energy that takes longer to arrive. Plain water still hydrates your blood volume, but without the right balance of minerals, specifically magnesium, natural sodium, and potassium, it doesn't shift into the cells efficiently. That's why I call this a morning upgrade. Adding back small amounts of these key minerals helps the water move from the road into the houses. Here's the simple science in everyday terms. Magnesium acts like a gate opener for blood vessels and muscles. Natural sodium helps water stick inside cells and tissues instead of rushing out. Potassium keeps the electrical system of your nerves and muscles steady. Put them together, and you get smoother circulation, warmer extremities, steadier energy, and often better sleep. Let's start with magnesium. Magnesium is one of the minerals most men miss as they age. It has a calming effect on smooth muscle, the muscles that line your blood vessels, which helps vessels relax and improves blood flow. It also plays a role in stress hormone regulation and sleep quality, two factors that profoundly affect how you feel in the morning. Many men tell me that after they began a gentle magnesium routine, their nighttime rest improved and mornings felt less tense and more energizing.
If you want a picture, imagine a narrowed roadway where traffic is bumper to bumper. Magnesium widens some lanes. It relaxes the smooth muscle so blood can move with less resistance. That doesn't mean your blood pressure will miraculously plummet overnight. What it often does is let circulation be more efficient, so oxygen and nutrients reach your muscles more reliably. You don't need anything exotic to support magnesium. Food sources include leafy greens, nuts, seeds, beans, and whole grains. If you choose a supplement, look for forms generally well tolerated by older adults. Magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate are commonly used because they tend to be gentle on the stomach. Use language like a daily magnesium supplement or magnesium-rich foods, rather than precise therapeutic dosages. Specific dosing is best decided with your clinician. Many men start with a daily magnesium at night to support sleep, and some report a noticeable difference within 1 to 3 weeks. I want to give you a short example. A man in his early 60s I worked with had been waking several times nightly and felt stiff in the mornings. He started a simple habit, magnesium at night and a salt upgrade to his morning water. I'll explain that next. Within 2 weeks, he told me his sleep felt deeper and his mornings were less achy. He still saw his doctor regularly and had routine labs, but this modest change made daily life feel better for him. Next, natural sodium, and I want to be careful here. When I say sodium, I do not mean a handful of table salt. Table salt is highly processed and stripped of trace minerals. It's also commonly combined with additives that aren't helpful. When I recommend salt for this morning upgrade, I mean a very small pinch of a natural, unrefined salt like sea salt or Himalayan salt. These salts contain sodium in a form the body recognizes, along with trace minerals. In tiny amounts, natural sodium acts as a carrier. It encourages water to move into and be retained in the tissues where it's needed. Think of sodium as a sort of magnet that helps water cling to the cells instead of rushing out through the kidneys. Practical tip. Add a small pinch of natural sea salt or Himalayan salt to a large glass of water first thing in the morning. Not enough to taste the water as salty. You're not trying to make it salty, just to alter the mineral balance. For most men, that pinch will be imperceptible in taste, but can help reduce the feeling of soggy or rushing hydration, where you drink and then quickly need the bathroom. Many say this reduces frequent morning urination and stabilizes energy for the first part of the day. One man in his late 50s I know reported waking fewer times to urinate and feeling more sustained energy after adding this tiny step. Again, caution is vital. If you are on blood pressure medications or have been told to limit sodium by your clinician, do not add salt without asking your provider.
Natural salts are not a universal recommendation. They're a small tool many men tolerate well, but they must be used in the context of your overall medical picture. The third player is potassium. Potassium is critical for electrical balance in nerves and muscles. It helps regulate heartbeat and muscular contractions, and it works with sodium to manage fluid shifts. After 50, many men have diets that don't provide optimal potassium, and some medications change potassium handling in the body. Potassium-rich foods are straightforward: bananas, avocados, spinach, sweet potatoes, beans, and some low-sugar electrolyte blends. You don't need to chase impossible amounts. Adding potassium a few times a week through food or a potassium-inclusive low-sugar electrolyte can help maintain cellular fluid balance and support vascular function. Picture potassium as the traffic controller for the electrical signals that coordinate your heart and muscles. When potassium is balanced, signals are smoother and more malleable. When it's low, you might notice cramping, irregular muscle performance, or uneven energy. A man in his early 70s described his legs feeling alive again after he introduced potassium-rich smoothies a few mornings a week alongside the other small changes. He also reported fewer mid-afternoon energy drops. So how do you put this together into a practical morning upgrade that's simple, repeatable, and safe for most men over 50? First thing when you wake, fill a large glass of water. Add a very small pinch of natural sea salt or Himalayan salt, not table salt, and definitely not a level that makes the water taste salty. Stir and drink slowly. This is your morning salt water. It's meant to nudge your fluid balance, not overwhelm your system. Later in the morning or with dinner, prioritize magnesium. If you prefer food, include magnesium-rich options like a spinach and nut salad, or snack on almonds and pumpkin seeds. If you choose a supplement, consider forms like magnesium glycinate or citrate because they're generally well tolerated. Take them as directed on the product label and discuss with your clinician for personalized advice. Many men find taking magnesium in the evening supports sleep and helps the morning routine feel smoother. Introduce potassium a few times a week. You can get this through breakfast choices: a banana with your cereal, a green smoothie with spinach and avocado, or an occasional low-sugar electrolyte drink that includes potassium. If you're using electrolyte blends, choose low-sugar options and avoid ones that contain high amounts of stimulants or added sugars. Rotating potassium-rich whole foods into several meals per week is a sustainable approach. Make this simple schedule your baseline: morning salt water daily, magnesium daily or as directed, and potassium a few times a week through foods or a low-sugar blend. Keep a small notebook or an app note to track how you feel each morning for the first month. Small, consistent changes beat sporadic overhauls. Over time, many men report steadier energy, fewer nighttime trips to the bathroom, warmer hands and feet, and improved endurance during activity. What should you expect and how long will it take? These are reasonable expectations. Because this is a physiological adjustment, you're looking at gradual improvements over weeks, not overnight miracles. Some men notice changes in sleep and morning tightness within 7 to 14 days, especially when magnesium is part of the routine. Circulation-related changes, warmer feet, steadier energy during the day, typically develop over 2 to 8 weeks as your tissues rebalance. If you're tracking symptoms, look for fewer night wakings, less morning stiffness, fewer sudden energy crashes, and stable body temperature in the hands and feet. If you have specific goals, for example, improving stamina on walks, measure that objectively. Note how far or how long you walk now and reassess in 3 to 6 weeks. A few brief examples help make this real. The early 60s man I mentioned combined nightly magnesium with a morning pinch of natural salt. His sleep improved first, and circulation felt better within a couple of weeks. The late 50s man who'd struggled with frequent urination found the small morning salt cut the number of bathroom trips and stabilized his morning energy. The early 70s man swapped store-bought sports drinks for low-sugar electrolyte blends and added potassium-rich breakfasts a few times a week. He reported reduced leg heaviness and steadier energy during the day.
These are composite, anonymized examples reflecting what many men report. They're not guarantees, but they illustrate the kinds of pragmatic improvements people often see. Now, safety and medical caveats. These are essential. This advice is educational and not a substitute for personalized medical care. If you take blood pressure medications, especially ACE inhibitors or ARBs, or if you use potassium-sparing diuretics, talk with your prescribing clinician before increasing potassium intake or adjusting salt. If you have chronic kidney disease or any history of kidney problems, consult your provider before changing mineral intake. The kidneys play a central role in handling sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, can also affect kidney function and mineral balance, so mention all medications during your review. If you're under treatment for heart rhythm disorders, have been instructed to restrict potassium or sodium, or on multiple medications that affect your electrolytes, do not self-adjust without medical guidance. Also avoid table salt for this upgrade. Table salt is heavily processed and lacks the trace minerals found in unrefined sea or Himalayan salt. The morning pinch I recommend is a very small natural salt addition, not a license to add more sodium to every meal.
If your clinician has advised a low-sodium diet for specific cardiovascular or kidney conditions, follow that advice and discuss alternatives that fit your treatment plan. If you have concerns about supplements interacting with medications, ask your clinician or pharmacist. They can review your current prescriptions and suggest safe forms and timing. For example, magnesium can interfere with the absorption of some medications if taken at the same moment, so spacing supplements and prescriptions according to your provider's advice is a sensible precaution. Again, avoid exact dosing instructions without a clinician's input. The goal here is a general, safe approach rather than prescription-level guidance. If you decide to begin the upgrade, here's a short practical checklist you can use tomorrow morning. Prepare a clean glass and water, add a tiny pinch of natural sea or Himalayan salt, drink it slowly, and then go about your morning routine. During the day, include magnesium-rich foods or a tolerated magnesium supplement, and add potassium-rich foods a few times during the week. Track how many times you wake at night, note your morning energy level, and pay attention to how warm your hands and feet feel. If any new symptom arises, irregular heartbeat, significant swelling, sudden weakness, stop the new additions and seek medical attention. A few commonly asked questions I get: will this make my blood pressure go up? For most men who are healthy and not sodium sensitive, a very small pinch of natural salt in the morning is unlikely to raise blood pressure dangerously. But men on blood pressure medication or those advised to follow a low sodium diet should check with their provider. Can I take magnesium and potassium together? Often yes, but timing and form matter for absorption and interactions, and your clinician can advise on the best approach for your situation. How long until I see benefit? Many men notice subtle changes within 1 to 3 weeks and more meaningful improvements over 1 to 2 months when they are consistent. Finally, an important medical disclaimer I need to say clearly. This information is educational and intended to help you have a focused conversation with your healthcare provider. It is not medical advice for your particular health conditions. Before making changes to your supplement or salt intake, especially if you take blood pressure medication, ACE inhibitors, ARBs, potassium-sparing diuretics, NSAIDs, or if you have chronic kidney disease, consult your prescribing clinician or pharmacist. They can help you determine the safest path forward. If this resonates with you and you want to try a low-effort morning upgrade, start with tomorrow's first glass, a large glass of water and a tiny pinch of natural sea or Himalayan salt. Consider adding magnesium through food or a clinician-approved supplement, and rotate potassium-rich foods into your week. Keep it simple. Consistency usually beats intensity. If you found this useful, share it with another man who might benefit, a brother, neighbor, or friend who's in that 50-plus range. Talk with your provider before making changes if you have any medical conditions or are on medications. And if you'd like more practical, clinician-rooted tips like this, subscribe for future videos where we go deeper into simple routines that support circulation, sleep, and morning vitality. You don't have to accept flat mornings as the new normal. Small, evidence-aware shifts in the way you hydrate can help your circulation work with you again, and the result is often a steadier morning, warmer hands and feet, and better daily energy. Try the morning upgrade, track how you feel over the next few weeks, and check in with your clinician to make it a safe, sustainable part of your routine.